So we're doing 1/3 plus 1/5. We're going to solve this by apples. I've got a bowl of apples. Okay. Now, count them. How many apples we got? 15. Good job. 15 apples. There they are. Okay, so we got 50. We're going to solve this using apples first of all. We got 15 apples. What would 1/3 of this 15 apples total, right? What would 1/3 of it be? And then figure out what would 1/5 of it be, right? What's 1/3 of the total? What's 1/5 of the total? Right, so a third of those apples is what? Yep, 5 it is, because 15 apples can be split into 5. Let's see here. You guys put up 5, and I got 5 and 5, right? Into 3 sets of 5. Ah. Split those up there. So here's 5. Here's, oh, put my hand there. Okay, so, split them. And let's see, get this here to split these up. Okay, so I got 5 there. I got, let's see. Surely there's a smart way of doing this. 5, 5, and 5, right? That's a third. 5 here, 5 here, 5 here, right? So a third, if you split the 15 apples into 3, that's 5 apples, right? So 1/3 of them is 5 apples. You okay with that? Also, we can write that for fun as a fraction. 5 out of 15. 5 apples out of 15. Does that make sense? Okay. Now, how many apples is 1/5 of the apples? So we had 15. So, what's 1/5? Yeah, right, because we can split it into 3, 3. There's another 3. Right? Here's another 3. And here's another 3. Make sense? There's another 3, right? So now we've split the apples into 5 sets of 3. But the point is 1/5 of those 15 apples means 3, right? 1/5 of those 15 apples means 3 apples. Okay with that? Okay. So 1/5 is 3 apples. There we go. There's 3 apples. So 1/5 is 3 apples. Now 3 apples is like saying 3 out of the original 15, isn't it? 3 out of 15. Does that make sense? 1/5 is the same thing as 3/15, isn't it? 1/3 is the same thing as 5/15. Make sense? So if I was to take 1/3 of these apples plus 1/5 of these apples, how many apples total would that be? It would be 8, because, once again, we start with 15 apples in the bowl. A third of them means 5. There they are. 1/5 of them means 3, and there's 3. Right, so that's 1/3. Add the 1/5, and that makes, it makes 8 apples. Right, so there's 1/3, that's 1/5. Add them together, and we have 8 apples, right? Now, how can we write that as a fraction, though? As we said, 5 apples we wrote as 5 out of 15, because we started with 15 and we took 5 of them. 3 apples we wrote as 3 out of 15, because we started with 15, we took 3 out of that. So what do you think? How could you write 8 apples? Alright, does that make sense? 8/15? No. There's 8 apples there. We began with 15, now we have 8. That's 8 15. It's 8 out of 15. It's literally 8 apples out of the original 15 apples. Now, does that make sense? That's what it is. It's 8 apples out of the original 15 apples. That's what 8 15ths is. Does that make sense? Is that okay? So we can say that 1/3 plus 1/5 gives what? Yep. 8 out of 15. Getting 1/3 of something plus 1/5 of something is like getting 8 15ths of that something. Okay? 8 15ths. Yep. Alright. Now how do we do that? Now how do we do that with math? We can find the lowest common denominator. So write out multiples of 3 just for fun. 3, then what? 2, 6, write it down, write down the next one. 9, then 12, then 15, yeah, then. Good. Now multiples of 5. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Now what number is common to both lists? What number appears on this list and this list? What's the first number that appears here and here? 15. Yeah, so that's the lowest common denominator. Or the LCD. Right? Lowest common denominator. Or the lowest, also called the lowest common multiple, LCM. The lowest number, where when you list the multiples, it's the first one that shows up in both lists, isn't it? Right? We found the lowest common denominator just for fun over here. Wasn't that fun? Great. We found... No, I haven't got to that yet. I'm just saying, did this make sense? This is the lowest number that 3 and 5 both go into, right? Right. So we know that if we're to add this with math, but we'll do it again, I guess, for fun. If we're to add this just with math alone and not doing apples or anything like that, we would do this. Look, we go 1 over 3 plus 1 over 5 must give something over 15, right? We know that we have to convert both of these to something over 15. So we say 1/3. What times 1/3 is going to give 15ths? Like, how do we turn that into 15ths? And we say, how am I going to turn that into 15ths? Because my answer needs to be 15ths, right? So write this down like that, right? So you say to yourself, I have to turn, my lowest common multiple is 15, right? So I have to turn the denominator into 15. So what times 3 gives 15? 5. So but you multiply the bottom by 5. But you must also multiply the top by 5. Because you can't change the value of the fraction. You can change what it looks like, but you can't change the actual value. 5 times 1 is 5. So 1/3 becomes 5 15ths, doesn't it? So 1/5. What do you do to 1/5 to get 15ths? Yeah, times 5 by 3, but you must multiply top by 3 as well. Because your 1/5 now becomes 1 times 3, 3 15ths, doesn't it? So you have 5 15ths plus 3 15ths. And how many 15ths does that give? Now, when you've written this down, it says 5 15ths plus 3 15ths. Gives how many 15ths? It's kind of like saying 5 bananas plus 3 bananas gives what? 8 what? 8 bananas. Yeah, or you could say $5 plus $3 gives what? $8. Now we're talking. Or you could say €5 plus €3 gives what? €8. Yeah, see, these are like terms. These are called like terms. Similarly with fractions, these are like terms. 5/15 plus 3/15 gives what? 8/15 is what I want you to say. You got it. There you go. So now we solved it with apples. We solved it with math. We went over lowest common multiple and we beat it to death. Let's do another one.